Well, thank God we were spared the effects of tropical storm Irma, and because as we know, there's no way we could afford any negative impact from Irma. So across the country, there are one or two little landslides and some fallen trees and so forth. But outside of that, and of course at the Douglas Childs Airport, there was a slight challenge there. But other than that, I think we were spared the ravages of or the effects of tropical storm Irma. Unfortunately, some of our friends, sister islands up north, were not spared by the impact of the hurricane. I have spoken to the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Gaston Brown, and he has informed me that Antigua itself was not heavily impacted outside of some fallen trees and so forth. But Barbuda was out of communication, and he would be making a trip there sometime this morning so that his government, himself and his government could make an assessment of the situation in Barbuda. Once that is done, then he will relay that information back to us in the OECS. I've also spoken to the Chief Minister of Anguilla, who indicated to me that Anguilla was receiving a pounding. And he said to me that the winds have been merciless, and clearly they will suffer some significant damage. Our hope and prayer is that there will be no loss of lives in Anguilla. At the time I spoke to him, which was about after 7 minutes to 8 this morning, the hurricane was still on island, affecting Anguilla. So once the situation subsides, they will be in a position to go out and to make an assessment, and of course to relay back to us on the situation in Anguilla. Montserrat did not receive any impact. A similar situation in St. Kitts and Nevis. In St. Martin, I've made efforts to reach the Prime Minister of St. Martin, but it appears that the telephone system in St. Martin in some parts have been compromised. So communication to St. Martin is a bit challenged. And of course, in times like this, one can understand the preoccupation of the leader of our country. But from images, we recognize that St. Martin itself it's been heavily impacted by the storm. I've also tried to reach out to a number of Dominicans who are resident in St. Martin, and been unsuccessful with this. So we'll continue making contact with them. Dominica stands ready to support with the little resources that we have. Once the assessment is received and the indication of what kind of support these islands would need, then Dominica would support. Because one cannot forget the tremendous outpouring of love and solidarity in 2015 following Tropical Storm America. So we understand what these islands will be going through. We understand the challenges, and the expression of solidarity in a tangible way to these countries would certainly help in a huge way. So our thoughts and prayers, our hope is that there'll be no loss of lives in these islands, and that the rebuilding process will commence immediately after this storm would have passed. In respect to Dominica, again, we're monitoring Jose. Jose is following Irma very closely, and so the Office of Disaster Management and the Met Office, they are monitoring on a 24-hour basis, and will be providing the country with a 3-hour interval report on the situation. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, and we're keeping the prayer, we're keeping the hope that the rain here would impact on us. I suspect we should expect some rain, intermittent showers, and so forth. But we continue to pray. I really want to thank all of the whole country, as a matter of fact, for adhering to the calls of the authorities. Because once we have cooperation, it is easier for us to execute a plan. And I must say the response to the Dominican public was commendable, and this assisted in the execution of the plan. The private sector was very helpful in allowing their workers to go home at 12 in majority of instances. The hurricane shelters, the managers in the circumstances did a fantastic job. There are one or two hiccups which we will address today. But by and large, and we were satisfied with the preparatory activities of the state in preparation for the tropical storm Irma. So we're not out of the hurricane season yet. We have to continue to be vigilant. We have opportunities to take action on anything which we consider to be hazards. And let us ensure we do what we should do in these circumstances. I also want to thank the media, because the media has played an important role in bringing out the information to the general public. So in the dissemination of the information, you're very helpful, and we want to thank them for that. So all in all, let us continue to pray and pray for our brothers and sisters in the Northern Islands. And the government at some point may indicate to the public how we think we can assist our brothers and sisters in the North who've been impacted by Hurricane Irma.